to West Valley Center for Spiritual Living.
Good morning, beautiful people.
Welcome out on this sunny Sunday, huh?
Yes,
That's
beautiful
nice
day.
Out there. Man, what a
the
beautiful
mountains
day.
and the sky was so clear.
We had hot air balloons coming when we drove.
Yeah,
through
it was
this
just a
morning,
beautiful view when we were coming out.
So anyway, we want to start the service with the song, This is the Day. And if you would please join in with us.
Dance if you want, Judy.
Dance if you want, rise, sing along. We really can feel it when you guys are helping us, so we appreciate it.
This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Sing now with me. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day, a day to be seized in, a day I can feel my spirit set free. Yes, this is the day, it's time to fly higher and high up in the sky. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day all my dreams come true. Feel the Spirit working its way through. Yes, this is the day, it's time to fly higher and high up in the sky. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. One more time. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Woo!
So busy gabbing, I'm falling down on my job. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the West Valley Center for Spiritual Living. And I better grab my notes so I know what's going on. So first I will say, if you can feel an energy in the room today, it's because yesterday we had an extraordinary women's retreat. We had just an incredible time where we honored the ancestors of the women, the goddesses of this center, that upon whose shoulders we stand. We set intentions, we let go of things. It was great. And then this is an exercise Reverend Karen did with us. It's a part of a meditation that we did where we are weaving us, our individual selves, into the tapestry of this center. That we are this amazing group of people, all of us, gender non-specific, that really, when we come together, we make a difference. We make it. Our theme this year is change your world. Well, how you change the world is you do what we did yesterday. We each made tremendous changes in our life. So thank you to all. If you were here yesterday, raise your hand. It was a fabulous day. Thank you, everyone, for coming. So, and thank you, Julie, for being the lead person who makes sure we have these on a regular basis. Reverend Susan and I helped, but Julie is always the brainchild for these activities, so thank you. And then we have a very exciting thing coming up. We did this yesterday. There is so much energy that goes with drumming. There is so much fun energy. that allows you, if you release and let go and surrender into that vibration, it just shifts and lifts and changes. So we are having, thank you, Reverend Susan, a monthly drumming circle. And it will be the third Saturday of every month from 11 to 1. And she will have a whole lot of drums. I have seen the collection. Tom probably more than anyone has seen, and Kendra have seen the collection of drums that come with her when she does a drumming circle. But it's really quite amazing. So it is not gender specific. It is gender open. So anyone who has an interest in coming, I promise you it will be an extraordinary, extraordinary time. Reverend Clyde is doing a meditation class again all month after the service, so please join him for that. He's going to tell you a little bit about the spiritual economics class coming up. And then Kay Fontana has the Grief Recovery Method Group program that's going on Tuesdays, January 16 to March 5. And I've done work with Kay. It doesn't necessarily have to be about the loss of a human, although we all have had those, but it's also about the loss of so many things. I mean, in our culture right now, that pre-pandemic existence that many of us still hope will come back is gone. We're building new. And so that grief recovery method can be used for so many things besides the loss of people. So please do consider coming. And I think that's it from an announcements perspective. So if you will, if we put the mission statement up, and repeat after me, or with me, we are a loving, joy-filled community honoring the many paths to God as we learn and live the science of mind principles. And so with that, I will say just allow yourself to relax and breathe deep, to listen to this meditation, to Kathy's reading and prayer, so that we can just exquisitely be ready for Clyde's great message.
I will make a quiet place within my heart, and I will wait upon the Lord, wait upon the Lord.
Be still, my soul, be still. Be still, my soul, be still. Be still and know.
I will make a quiet place within my mind, and I will wait upon the Lord, wait upon the Lord.
Be still, my soul, be still. Be still, my soul, be still. Be still and know. I will make a quiet place within my life, and I will wait upon the Lord, Wait upon the Lord. I will make a quiet place. And in this quiet place, there's but one essence, one love, one joy, one beauty, peace, health, harmony, light, freedom. And it permeates all there is, all there ever has been, and all there ever will be. And I am an individualization of this essence. And as I am an individualization of this essence, so is each of us. The whole planet. All there is this essence that operates through us, as us. And this service is absolutely perfect, full of essence, full of love, full of learning and light. And I say a word of blessing for the Bradfords and their awesome music, which always, always brings us together, touches our souls, makes us happy. And I say a word of blessing for Reverend Clyde and his divinely inspired message today that teaches us that we may take this knowledge and go forth and spread it and use it in our lives on a daily basis. So I just release this perfect service into the law, knowing that it is already done. And together we say, and so it is. So I'm in the creative mind again today. Kind of like this book. So I kind of went to the end of the book, and it has a conclusion, and it has all this stuff in it. So I'm going to talk a little bit about principle. Principle itself is simplicity, yet it is infinite. It is infinite mind and manifestation of mind. We live in a spiritual universe governed through thought, or the word which first becomes law. This law creates what we call matter. Jesus Christ discerned the truth about spiritual principles more than any other man who ever lived. And he proclaimed the eternal reign of law and understanding, absolute, complete, perfect. He found that law to be operating through his own thought and the power of his own word. And when you and I shall cease looking outside ourselves to any person and shall realize that whatever truth and whatever power we shall have must flow through us. When we begin to interpret our own natures, we shall begin to understand God and law and life, and not until then. Words worth pondering. And so it is.
I'd gladly walk across the desert with no shoes upon my feet to share with you the last bite of bread I had to eat. I would swim out to save you your sea of broken dreams. When all your hopes are sinking, let me show you what love means.
Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? I would whisper love so loudly every heart could understand that love and only love can join the tribes of man. I would give my heart's desire so that you might see First step is to realize that it all begins with you and me. Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? When we stand together, it's our finest hour.
We can do anything,
Anything,
anything.
anything.
Keep believing in the power.
Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time?
Thank you, Bradfords. That was very beautiful. Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Reverend Clyde Goins. I'm the assistant minister here. Reverend Karen is out taking some time off and enjoying her time off and resting. And so I'm excited to be speaking today. And I've actually been excited about speaking today since Thanksgiving. So when Thanksgiving rolls around, that's when all the fun begins. And so it starts off with Thanksgiving meal, and we celebrate the Thanksgiving dinner, and it's all around food and family and friends, and it's really light and fun and filling, right? Then we move into the Christmas holidays and having all the fun around the Christmas holidays, and I think I enjoy giving gifts more than I do receiving them. And Mark enjoys receiving them very much. So we're a good match. So we have a really wonderful Christmas season and Christmas time and all the celebrations and all the beautiful services, the candlelight service that we have and everything that we have around the holidays. And then we move into the end of the year, and Sue does the burning bowl ceremony on the last day of the month to release everything. And I always enjoy coming to that service because I really set that intention of just letting go of whatever I need to let go for the year before, so I can be ready to receive whatever I need to receive for the following year. And then the next Sunday, it's all about setting our intentions for the whole year. And so that's what Sue did last year. We set the intentions for this new year, for 2024. Very exciting. And then now it's finally my turn. Right, and so what I focus on and we do this across all the centers, that everybody is focusing on back to the basics, right? So we have our Sunday talks are usually talking about some our basic principles, what we believe, and so really just refortifying that our spiritual principles, our foundation that we stand on, right? Because we're building that skyline that is going to reach to the sky as high as it can go. And so we spend this first month setting those, building that foundation, reinforcing that foundation. So that's what we're going to be doing for the next 2 weeks. So we're going to be talking about love and law. So the first week I'm going to be talking about love, and then the second week I'm going to be talking about law. Excuse me. Before I go into the talk, though, I want to just put in a couple of quick information for you. So first is, again, the meditation. We're doing it all month. So our focus this year is about change your world. And so we're really focusing on spiritual practices. And so we started off the year already with the meditation workshop. So we're doing it every month, every Sunday this month. And then starting tomorrow, I'm going to be teaching a class on spiritual economics, and with a book by Eric Butterworth. And Eric Butterworth says, prosperity is a way of thinking and being, and not something you get. Why do rich get richer and poor get poorer? So you can join me for 8 weeks and explore that way to live an abundant life. So again, the class starts tomorrow, and it's a 1:30 class, and it's an 8-week class. So please join me for that wonderful experience that we're going to be exploring for the next 8 weeks. And then finally, tomorrow is Dining with the Dudes. I'm sorry, today is Dining with the Dudes, right? So so after service today, we'll have all this wonderful food to eat. So I feel bad because I don't feel bad, but I'm so used to giving the announcements. I have to give all these announcements before I do my talk. Right? It won't feel right for me. So I think I've got all my announcements out of the way. So thank you. So let's talk about love and law. So first, like I said, this month or this week, we're going to be talking about love. So love is the impelling force, and law executes the will of love. There are two sides to the same coin. It's all God. We experience both of them at the same time, and we're experiencing them always. So Ernest Holmes defines love as the self-givingness of spirit through the desire of life wanting to express itself in terms of creation. And law is the creative medium, the blind force. So whatever goes into the subjective state of our thoughts will return some condition. We are creative spiritual beings, and life is desired to express through us. We have this divine urge within us that wants to express. We always are creating, whether we like it or not, and all life is always changing and evolving from itself. When we look at our life experiences, do we not try to improve our conditions, expand our horizons, and express life in a new way? You know, I'm teaching that meditation class, and I invited everybody for the first week to meditate for 5 minutes, right? And so just get into a practice of meditating. And then I said, naturally, you'll move to 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. It's a natural progression. And when I was sitting here thinking, and I was looking at Rod and Kathy and talking about evolving from itself, this whole corner they have taken over. Right? They've made this corner their corner, and you can see the beautiful transformation that they have done with this from just a couple of years ago. Right? And so this is what I'm talking about, that life is always evolving from itself. It's wanting to express more, and it expressed more through us. So I watched this wonderful show on Netflix a couple weeks ago. It's called Life on Our Planet. And the show is about when life began on the planet trillions of years ago, right? So first of all, can we even imagine trillions of years ago? But anyway, so life began on the planet 1 trillion years ago, and it began from a single cell, and through evolution, life has evolved to what it is today, and it continues to evolve. Earth, or the living beings on Earth, or the living animals, plants, and everything on Earth were nearly wiped out several times through major floods, through volcano eruptions, and even through a meteor that crashed onto the planet, right? But life kept rebuilding and evolving. So the plants and animals on life on the planet, they continue to evolve and adapt to the changing environments. So when I was 10 years old, I was not ready for a cell phone. They weren't even invented then. The consciousness and the technology was already present, but it was not yet discovered. Now look how many kids today that are 10 years old that have their own cell phones. Life is always evolving from itself. The impulse of life, of that loving energy, that self-givingness of spirit is who we are. We are all of it, but it is not all of us. We are the finite, and God is the infinite. So life, God, love is expressing through us, and we can't stop it. I love this image because it's a great example of that impelling force. You can see this sapling, small plant cast a shadow of this beautiful, strong tree. This is exactly what I'm talking about that's happening in our lives. So what image of your life are you casting? The casting of the image is the conscious container we create for the law to manifest our conditions in our life. The conscious container is not the one thought that we have, but it's the conscious atmosphere that Sue Witter was talking about last week. I love the rock ritual because it helps me set the intentions for my year. And so I participate in that rock ritual. I set my intention, and then I put it someplace to remind me what my intention is for the whole year. So what are you telling yourself? What are you telling your friends? What are you telling your families or even your pets? This is the image that we are casting for our life. Today, I want to talk about love, God, energy, life, whatever you feel comfortable calling it. I use God and spirit and life interchangeably. I want to try to explain God as omnipresent, all around us, in us, and through us. The reason why I say try to explain is that God is very personal to each one of us. My God image and relationship, it can be very different than yours. Everyone has their own personal relationship with God. Our journey through life is about discovering who we are in our relationship with God. So next Sunday, I'm going to be focusing on the law and the God power that we can use to co-create our life. So Ernest Holmes says, everything we see with the eyes of love. Everything that we hear with the ears of love. We see God everywhere. Everywhere we look, we see God. Everywhere we go, we find God. All the religions attempt to interpret our relationship with Spirit or God. The reason why we have so many religions is people hear and interpret things differently. We believe that all paths, all religions lead to God. So do you believe that God is separate from us, or do you believe that you are an individualized expression of God? This is a very personal and important question. We teach that we are beautiful, individualized expressions of God. We are not trying to reconcile or reunite with Spirit. Instead, we focus on the unfoldment of life expressing through us. All the qualities that God has, we have. So let me say that again. All the qualities that God has, we have. So love is very personal. And I always look to nature to experience the love of God. I have two traits for God. I have a loving Father that makes me feel safe. I trust and have faith that I am always loved, supported, and guided. And then the majority of the time, I experience God as a loving energy or a power that I choose to use to experience the life that I desire. I see loving beauty in sunrises and sunsets and full moons. So do you take the time to experience the loving beauty of life? Do you allow the time to feel the beauty, the love? So every day, Mark takes our dog, Axel, for a walk. It's his chore, and I'm so glad that he does it. But the other day, he took Axel for a walk, and he took a picture of this beautiful sunset that we had. And there's all these orange and reds and purples in the sky, and it was an incredible view. And he took a picture of it, and he sent it to me, and it was just really beautiful. And of course, I texted out to all my friends to show them what they're missing if they're not living in Arizona. So we are so fortunate to have lots of opportunities to see so many incredible sunsets. So this year we're focusing on spiritual practices. There's so many ways that we can connect with Spirit and remember our truth. One of my favorite spiritual practices right now is preparing for this talk. Whenever a minister has to prepare for the talk, they have to just totally envelop themselves in Spirit and God and spiritual principles. And it is just the most powerful experience that you can experience. And I love it. I love it. And I feel it. And so I don't want to do it every week. But I love that experience. And so Karen and I talk about that a lot. I'm like, I'm not ready to do that every week, but I do love it. And so that is a spiritual practice. I'll share another spiritual practice that I had many years ago, but it's still something that really resonated with me. So my practice is the recognizing the beauty of a full moon. So every time there was a full moon, I paused and I looked at it and I showed my appreciation for it and the beauty of it. And when I did that, it helped me connect to life in a way that I accepted that I am part of something greater than me. And it really helped me get that feeling. And it really helped me realize, because the moon's way out there, right? But I felt so close to it and so appreciated it that it was part of my life. So I see love as life's creations, all the people, all the flowers, all the animals. I love watching nature shows. So I love watching nature shows and how life equips animals and insects to survive. So there's another show that I watched on TV, another nature show I was watching on TV, and the segment was about crabs that live at the bottom of the ocean where there was no sunlight. So they live like 2 or 3 miles down at the bottom of the ocean, and it's completely darkness. There's no sun that can get down to that level. And they live on these hydrothermal vents on the ocean floor where the temperature reaches 700 degrees Fahrenheit. So we think we have it hot here in Arizona, right? So how can the crabs live in the 700 degrees Fahrenheit temperature at the bottom of the ocean? It doesn't matter. But what does matter is that life created them and life supports them. So I love art because art reminds me of God. When an artist creates something out of nothing, where does the idea come from? We can witness creativity in all the mediums, in music, in painting, in sculptures, in gardening, and even cooking a meal. I truly believe that when we are in that creative flow, we are dancing with the divine. We all have experienced it. The question is, did you honor the experience? I really love this little design that they made, and I can just feel that energy of them, the weaving, the ladies taking turns weaving their life into this tapestry, just like that we are weaving our lives into the tapestry of our community. I believe the sweetest place in the whole world is when we are in that creative state, when we're dancing with the divine. So a lot of you have been to my house, and you know how much I love and appreciate art, and I have a lot of art all over my house. It brings me a lot of joy. It reminds me of the dance. So when we are born into this world as perfect expressions of God, each one of us has unique gifts and talents. So why do we feel sorry for people who are born differently from us? A blind person or a deaf person, we are all life expressing, and we need to always remember that we are perfect expressions just the way that we are. So there's I watched a segment this morning, and there's a new play coming out in New York about these people that have autism. I think Fred probably knows the name of it, but Can We Dance? In Ohio or something like that. And Mark and I are planning on going to New York later this year, and I really want to go see this play because it's about the experience of how people live with an autistic life. And so I'm really looking forward to it. But in addition to that, we were watching The Amazing Race this year. And I was so honored to see a father and son team where the father was deaf. They were one of the top 3 teams to win, and you didn't even know that the father was deaf until you saw the father and the son talking to each other. It was a beautiful experience to witness the acceptance and see the competition. The teams did not care if the father was deaf. It was a competition, and they were a team to beat. So can we try to stay open to people that do not look or act like us? We are all God expressing, and each one of us has unique gifts and experiences that we can share with the world. So let's talk about romantic love. So romantic love will make you do crazy stuff. A new relationship, you will feel so alive. The floodgates are open, the juices are flowing. We can all relate to this honeymoon stage in the relationship. And the reverse is just as intense. When you lose someone that you love, it can be very painful and even drain all the energy out of you. When we experience the highs or the lows, we can feel how alive we really are. So I have felt both the joy and the sorrow, And I've always told myself when I'm in that place, either the highest of the highs or the lowest of the lows, I always remind myself is, man, I am really alive right now. I can really feel it. So let's talk about supportive love. Supportive love from our families, from our friends, and from our pets. I think this is one of God's greatest gifts to help us on this journey called life. I have said this many times that people come into our life for one reason, and that is to remind us of our truth. So love is all around us, supporting us, guiding us, and showing us how much good and beauty there is in the world. Are you looking for it? Do you allow time to experience it and reflect on all the love of God? So we're studying the Living the Science of Mind book right now in our Wednesday night study sessions, and so we're just started a couple weeks ago, or last Sunday, or no, we're on our third Sunday. I get them all mixed up right now. We're starting in our third Wednesday, and I've shared this with you guys before. We're living the science of mind. It's going to take us about 5 years. So those people that take a long time to join, you have plenty of time to join. But it is a beautiful discussion group that we have. But Ernest Holmes used this beautiful analogy to express the individualization of God. He said that in the Colorado Rockies, there's a beautiful valley where all these mountains, all these fountains are gushing out water. There is only one source deep below the surface that supplies all the fountains. The fountains flow differently, but the pressure from that one source is the same. We all come from that same source, God. We all have that divine light within us. We all express life differently, even though it is the same source. So our journey through life is self-awareness and self-expression, understanding who we really are, and accepting that we are a beautiful, individualized expression of God. As we continue to deepen our connection with God and developing a personal relationship and accepting that we have all the same qualities of God in life, our faith grows stronger. Life becomes easier. We are able to forgive ourselves and others easier. We stay open to hear the divine guidance. We feel loved and supported. This true connection with God is an inside job. You can take classes, you can go to workshops, you can attend church, but the only way that you're going to truly connect with God is go within and know. So what are you doing to deepen your connection with Spirit? When you talk about God, life, love, do you think about it intellectually, or do you feel it in your heart? I love the way that we pray. If you really want to connect with Spirit this year, then your spiritual practice should be praying every day. Because step one is recognition and recognizing that God is everywhere and that there's no place where God is not. Step two is unification. If God is everywhere, then nothing can be outside of God, including me. So we say, and when we teach spiritual mind treatment, that we tell everybody that you should stay in step one and step two until you feel the shift within you. And if you don't feel the shift, then you just need to keep practicing. Our connection with God is not something that we know, but it's something that we feel. Our theme this year is Change Your World. We are focusing on spiritual practices to help us be the change. When we begin to live from the inside out, we become the peace in the world. It does not mean that we're not going to have problems or challenges in our life. We are living, so we're going to keep bumping into stuff. I bump into stuff all the time. But when I'm centered in God, life is easier. So Nancy Noel, she used to be a member here. She's moved to California. She's on our Wednesday night discussion groups, and I love that she's staying connected with us. So she shared an affirmation with me. She sent it to me by email, and she belongs to this, that she received from this social group. So she gets these affirmations daily. So talk about another spiritual practice to keep us centered in God. So life supports us so many ways, but we just need to stay open and receive and accept. So this is the affirmation that she sent me about inner peace. Choose to be at peace. If you can change a thing through your positive actions, then by all means do so. But if you cannot, then how do you think about the issue is up to you. If you focus on the negatives, you will not radiate peace. What if you cannot find peace? Then simply be the peace that lies underneath all passing stories. This is very important. I'm going to say this again because this is what we can experience and what we can use today. What if you cannot find positives? Then we simply be the peace that lies underneath all passing stories. So peace is a choice. Sometimes when I pray, I like to visualize the crashing waves of the ocean and then the peace that lies below the surface. So what I want to do right now is I would just invite you to close your eyes just for a second and just allow yourself to just be settled right where you are. And just imagine that you're bobbing in the ocean. You can't touch the bottom. You're just swimming in the ocean, and you're close to the shoreline or close to where the water is crashing up against the rocks. And you can see the waves just splashing everywhere. You can hear the crashing of all of the water that's crashing up against the rocks and how loud it may sound. And then you take a deep breath and you allow yourself to simply drift below the surface of the water. And you just go about a foot below the surface of the water. And notice what happens. It becomes calm. It becomes peaceful. You no longer hear the crashing of the waves and all the craziness that's going on. And then as you allow yourself to descend even further below the surface of the water, you experience that stillness, that peace. And that is the peace that is within us always. So you can open your eyes. So this peace is within us, and no one or nothing can take that away from us. When we begin living from the inside out, we become the light of the world, and we change our world. So we're studying the meditation practice again every Sunday this month. So learn to tap into that inner peace. So we're here because life needs to express and experience itself. If God is everything and everywhere, how can it experience anything? We are individualized expressions of life, and we are a fountain of life that is fed from that divine spirit. And because we are life expressing, we are loved, supported, and guided. The impulse of life is the driving force within us that is wanting to express more life. That is why life is forever evolving and changing. That is why the caveman didn't have electric cars. Electricity was available, and the caveman did not have the consciousness back then to have an electric car. So look for that divine guidance in your life, and it will empower you to change your world. So how does that divine givingness help us change our world, support us as that individualized expression? First, I want to look at the abundance of life itself. And we're talking about prosperity for the next 8 weeks. So again, you look to nature and you can see abundance and all kinds of things. Just people itself, how many people are on this planet? And everybody is different and everybody's an individual. How many blades of grass cover the planet? How many sand gravels on the beach, pebbles on the beach that are covered the beach? So it's all kinds of ways that you can help you and visualize the abundance of life itself. And then if we can stop listening to the news or the media or all the commercials out there that are just inundating us about what we need to make us happy, right? So if we were on an island by ourselves and nothing else was available, life would support us. We would be able to live on that island and be as happy as we can be. But instead, we have all these things around us telling us what we need to make us happy. And we don't need any of that. All that we need is to go within ourselves. We look at somebody else's worth or somebody else's experience or somebody else that has made and has an successful financial life. And sometimes we feel less adequate or we compare ourselves to them. We shouldn't compare ourselves to them. Their life is different than our lives. But what we should be doing is saying, oh, I too can have that. I too can experience that. I too can learn to be that way if I choose, because it's a choice that we all have. And finally, I was talking to Kathy about this morning. If you want to really witness abundance in your life, go to your closet, go to your garage, right? I will pay anybody a $100 bill right now if you can find 5 things in there that you have not touched in more than, I would say, 5 years, right? How much stuff do we keep and we clutter in our house? So that's a whole different discussion. But I'm telling you, the abundance is there, and we get to experience it every day. That divine intelligence, I love this. This is so empowering. You know, the story about the crabs at the bottom of the ocean. You know, where does that intelligence come? That can you just imagine this crab being 700 degrees Fahrenheit is living on this thing, and it's living. It's incredible. Or I've seen another show where these monkeys were taking blades of grass and sticking it in these little holes for the termites to get on the piece of grass, and they'd take them out and they would eat them. Where did that monkey learn that from, right? There's no school for them to go to, right? Another example is how a caterpillar transforms into a butterfly. I've used that image so many times because that we don't understand how that happens. At least I don't. I'm not a scientist to understand that. But that experience is that intelligence that has the ability to do that. And today we're going to be eating food. Our bodies turn the food that we eat into fuel to fuel our body. Or what about injuries that we have and how our body can heal itself, can heal a cut, or it can heal a broken arm. That's that divine intelligence that's in, through, and all around us. And then there's divine wisdom. That divine wisdom is within each one of us. And I say this over and over again, and I truly believe this. Everything that we need to know, we already know. It's within us. We just have to be open to receive it. So it may not give us the answer to the equation. It may not solve the big problem that you're having right now. But what it will do is give you the next step. We just have to stay open. And we just have to receive. So and that next step, that divine wisdom, comes in many forms, right? It could be, you could be driving on the highway and you could see a billboard, and there's a message on that billboard is what you needed to hear. You could hear it in a song. When we were on our Wednesday night group, one of the guys on the Wednesday night group was talking about a movie that explained something to him spiritually that made it click for him. See, so that divine guidance, that divine wisdom comes in many forms, but if we're not open to receive it, not willing to accept it, then we think that we're on an island all alone. And then finally, I suggest Jane Pauley every Sunday morning. I love Jane Pauley, and she's my best friend, and the stories on that show is so inspirational. There's so many God stories on there that remind me of God and remind me how I can live or how I can experience or just express life itself. So life is flowing in, through, and all around us. We are beautiful, individualized expressions of God. So I want to close with a quote from Ernest Holmes. We are thinking, willing, knowing, conscious centers of life. We are surrounded by, immersed in, and there is flowing through us a creative something. Call it what you will. And so it is. So let us pray. So as we rest in this beautiful spiritual home that we call West Valley Center for Spiritual Living, we feel that vibration of love that is left over from yesterday with those beautiful women that came together, that allowed that time for them to experience that divine presence within them. We feel the love of each one of our community members as we come together and recognize each other, support one another, and just experience that love of that connection. We stay open to see God in all of our experiences, in all life, because God is in every place, in every action, in every person, in every situation. And we stay open to recognize it, to see it, to experience it. We allow our time to just pause and notice that beautiful sunset, that beautiful sunrise. So we feel that love. We recognize the beauty of all of life, and the flowers and the birds and even the people that we meet. How beautiful they are, that beautiful expression of life. And as we move through this day, we move through this year, we understand, accept that we are that individualized expression of God. All that God has, we have. We are God expressing. We are life expressing, with all the gifts and talents to be as big as we'd like to express in life, or as little. The choice is ours. And whatever we choose is the right choice, because that's how we're showing up right here and right now. But I also know that as life is expressing through each one of us, it is unfolding to express more, because life is that divine urge that wants to express through each one of us. So we can rest in that place of knowing that we are always loved, that love shows up in our family and our friends and our pets. So God is showing up every day to love us. We are guided by that divine wisdom and that divine intelligence every day. And so we stay open. We stay open to listen and learn and grow. And we are supported in so many ways. So I'm grateful that we can acknowledge this right here and right now, that we can stand on our foundation of our spiritual truth, that we are that expression of life, and that we are loved and supported, and life is unfolding through us right here and right now. I'm so grateful that we take the time out every Sunday to come together to support one another on this beautiful journey called life, to remember our truth, and to learn and grow and learn more spiritual principles, more spiritual practices, so we can experience the life that we want to experience. God simply says yes, and we just get to experience whatever we choose to experience. And I'm so grateful to know this truth right here and right now. And so as we move into 2024, we move into it with great gratitude of knowing that this is going to be an incredible year for us to experience and express life, incredible year for us to deepen our connection with Spirit, an incredible year to be that light in the world, to be that change. So I am so grateful to know all this. I'm so grateful to be together with all of us as we are living life. So I simply bless this day, this year, this life. And together we say, and so it is.
have. Everywhere I look and every face I see is love reflected, shining back to me. I just give thanks for all these simple things, the joy and peace that gratitude brings. That's why I'm grateful, grateful, grateful for all the love that I have. I am so grateful, grateful, grateful for all the love that I have.
Thank you, Bradford. Thank you, Reverend Clyde. That was fabulous. There are so many things that are still bouncing about in my brain that I will take away and ponder throughout the week. And that's really, for me, that's a part of why we do this, is that a tremendous ability to take it away, to hold it in our hearts, and to let the seeds kind of begin to grow. And we don't need to force that. It's just you open, you let it in, and it automatically bubbles up when it's necessary. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So it's time for our grateful giving and receiving. And as you know, we don't pass the basket anymore, but there is a black box there on the wall on the way into Papke Hall, one in the back and one out at the bookstore for you to give your contribution to the center. And we appreciate that so much. So if you will say with me the joyful giving affirmation: I live in a consciousness of good. Divine love blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. And so it is. And I will say, there are a lot of churches that do this affirmation with the blessing, but we have a piece that I don't know that I've ever heard anywhere else in that affirmation. And with us, we say that we're grateful for all that I am. We start there first. So many of the centers say, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so I'm so grateful that this center starts with all that I am, because that's what makes a difference, and that's a part of why we're here. So thank you all for coming. Dining with the Dudes is filled with good food. So, oh, well, if Mark made cookies, to heck with it. I was going to say we'll be here to pray with you afterward, but maybe not. Thank you, everybody. Please rise and join us for the last song.
Oh, it feels so good to be alive. Sing that with me. Oh, it feels so good to be alive. I ain't thinking about my problems. I'm living now. I'm living now. And I ain't gonna worry about the future. Well, I'm living now. I'm living now. So put your hands up if you feel like having a good time. Put your hands up if you're sharing love with all. Raise your cup if you're hopeful for tomorrow. Put your hands up if you're ready to have some fun. Now sing it. Oh, it feels so good to be alive. Oh, it feels so good to be alive. Feels good, don't it? Feels good, don't it? Only got one life, live in the moment. Feels good, don't it? Feels good, don't it? Only got one life, live in the moment. Feels good, don't it? Feels good, don't it? Only got one life, live in the moment. Feels good, don't it? Feels good, don't it? Only got one life, live. Oh, it feels so good to be alive. Oh, it feels so good to be alive. One more time. Oh, it feels so good to be alive. Woo!
All right, it feels good to be alive. So we will start the meditation workshop about 12:20. So if and it's 11:20. I started looking. I had to look. 11:20 here. We're gonna do it here. So let's say our closing affirmation together, and then we'll go eat some wonderful food. I believe God, love, energy is omnipresent. I accept that God is in and all around me. And so it is.